Hello, my name is Amy King, and today I will be giving an insight into the daily life of a nurse. I chose to learn more about this topic as it has been my career goal for most of my life. What approximately does the daily life of a nurse look like? This question will change depending on what department you are looking at. Firstly, what does it mean to be a nurse? By definition, a nurse is a person trained to care for the sick or infirm, especially in a hospital. But a nurse goes way beyond that. It takes a lot more than just training. It takes a compassionate, caring, empathetic person with a calm temperament. You need to have a willingness to put others before yourself, as you'll be caring for patients in a very vulnerable point in their lives. Nurses are the main base of our entire healthcare system. Without them, we would fall apart. VGH, or Vancouver General Hospital, is the second biggest hospital in Canada. It is massive, being 4 blocks long and 3 blocks wide, consisting of at least 15 buildings. Located on 12th Avenue, it's known as a tertiary hospital, and the physicians and equipment are highly specialized. People come from all over the province, and even the Yukon, to have specialized procedures such as organ transplants or extremely difficult cancerous tumor removals from anywhere on the body. Not only do they perform difficult surgeries, but also simpler ones that don't seem to be available elsewhere. In the following slides, I will provide in-depth information on what the daily life of a nurse looks like. Depending on the kind of nurse you are, the day will look different, of course. I will be focusing on bedside nursing, as well as the charge nurse position in the PCC and PC wards at VGH. These are the wards I was able to visit and shadow my mentor in. I experienced an insight into what it takes to be a nurse. I witnessed firsthand the different hardships that come with the job, as well as the positive and rewarding side. The perioperative care unit, also known as PCC, prepares patients for various surgeries. It is an open unit that is fast-paced. At VGH, the unit consists of a mix of RNs and LPNs with previous experience. They receive inpatients from 5:45 in the morning until 2 p.m., with the exception of emergencies throughout the day. PCC has 25 bays with no Bay 13, and each nurse admits 3 patients between 6 a.m. and 7:15 a.m., which is their busiest time. In addition to preparing patients for surgery, they also prepare patients for radiology procedures and do phase 2 recovery for patients going home. They sometimes take care of patients who have been discharged from PACU, which stands for the Post-Anesthetic Care Unit, but whose inpatient beds are not ready yet due to overflow. And here on this slide, you can see me getting my temperature taken by my mentor. As of May 5th, 2021, a 40-bed combined PCC-PACU unit was created. Due to this change, VGH has the capacity to operate up to 24 operating rooms at once across 2 floors of the hospital. The units operate almost the exact same as PCC, but now there's a lot more room. When a patient arrives, a nurse will confirm the patient identity via confirmation of information or an identification band or face sheet on health record. They will then obtain vital signs, including pain, sedation scores, and document on the patient's vital signs record. Then they will obtain baseline surgery-specific parameters and document on an applicable form. If applicable to the patient, they will complete sage wipes and nasal decolonization. If the patient does not already have an IV, one will be inserted. If they already have one, it will be checked for integrity, that the dressing is dry and intact, and most importantly, that the IV is viable for surgical procedure. The chart will be reviewed to make sure the preoperative checklist is complete, or they will complete it if it's not present. The nurse is responsible for making sure that the patient consents to the procedure. Then they will print the most recent blood work and other diagnostic results. After all, the patient admission labels will be printed out and a family contact sheet will be filled. After all that, the patient's ready for the doctor to come in, and then they're on to surgery. Every day there is a charge nurse on the floor to aid the other nurses with any problems that may arise. In the morning, the charge nurse is one of the first people to arrive in the department, other than the unit clerk. The nurse will turn on all the computers and iPads and get the assignments out that was prepared the day before. The assignment directs the nurses to which bays they are in charge of and which operating rooms they are looking after. Each nurse looks after 3 ORs. Then the charge nurse will assign the inpatients that are coming from the upstairs units for surgery to a bay. She will then print the lab work and labels for each inpatient. By the time all this is done, the other bedside nurses will start arriving and the day can begin. This is my mentor, Rhonda Richards, who I shadowed at VGH. She is the patient care coordinator on both the second and third floor. Throughout her life, she hasn't always been a nurse. She took time off to travel in her 20s and even worked with Hertz Car Company. After that, she volunteered at a hospital and also joined a swim program for children with cerebral palsy. After these experiences, she decided that nursing was the best option. She applied to nursing programs at UBC and University of Alberta, but decided to go to UBC, as it was the only 2 years as she had another science degree. Her final preceptorship at UBC was on the vascular and general surgery unit at VGH. Then she ended up working there for 5 years, during which time she did the high acuity program at BCIT. After 5 years in vascular and general surgery, she felt the need for a change, so she applied to and was accepted into the emergency training program at BCIT. She worked in Emerge at VGH for about 3 years and then came over to PCC. She has worked in both places for the last 10 years and just had her 15-year anniversary with Vancouver Coastal Health. She currently also works a bit at Reach Urgent Care Centre on Commercial Drive, which sort of focuses on providing health care to disadvantaged populations and recent immigrants. Throughout the work on this project, I was able to visit the hospital 3 times. One of the biggest struggles was actually getting me to the hospital. My mom works there, but she leaves our house around 5 a.m., and due to me having a daily first block class, going to work with her just wasn't feasible. I figured that Tuesdays and Thursdays worked best for me. My mentor and I then found dates that worked for her as well. To get to the hospital, I would get on a bus to drive downtown after my first block class. After arriving at the hospital, I was able to spend time with my mentor for around the last 4 hours of her shift. My experience throughout the project has helped me a lot with my indecisiveness in regards to my career goal. Through Rhonda, my mentor, I received words of wisdom. I've been stressed out on how to go about pursuing this career. Now I know it's okay to take a gap year, or even longer, to explore options and live life to the fullest. Having fun is a huge part of life, and you shouldn't let work consume you. There's no rush in going to post-secondary, and sometimes you should take time off to earn money or even travel. Rhonda told me she wishes she could have been a traveling nurse, and she explained all the pros and cons in doing that. In the end, I know I want to become a nurse in my future, and this experience has really solidified that. I would like to be a nurse because it is a job that makes a difference. As I'm still young, growing, and maturing, I want to find my purpose. By becoming a nurse, I could aid in not only helping lives, but possibly saving them too. Another reason is that nursing is a very stable industry with good benefits and comfortable pay. Nursing will always be in demand. It also opens up countless opportunities, as there are job openings around the whole world. I really love traveling, and to be able to travel while doing my job would be a dream for anyone.